Margaret Ann Windsor, and I've been telling about mind control murders and programming, modifying behavior, and it's like a game of chess, only I think yesterday was one of the first times well, maybe sometime back, described it like a game of chess, and that's what it is. The United States took me out when they kidnapped me and brought me to Moulton, Alabama in 41. They took out my father, Edward VIII. It was lies. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, un-American, and my mother was a high school teacher, not Wallace Simpson, who married a double. She was an American spy. So my own Uncle George got into helping kidnap me. He's with Roosevelt in 39, the year I was born, so you can take it from there. Kennedy was appointed by Roosevelt ambassador to England. 36, when my grandfather George V died, and the Kennedy clan actually came over there. Some of them, JFK and his older brother, flew in to the embassy there where their dad had been appointed ambassador. It's not enough that the United States has taken everything, including the monarch, me, and installed their own. So I'm going to leave it there. The New World Order, the Illuminati, Freemasons, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, the Jews, and the Kennedy clan, and then he goes on from there who got involved in it. So what you've got now is the New World Order that's in place. I wanted to get to this. I told about the game of chess. Mind control is being used mass now. And you can mass armies. When Edward Snowden was telling about how they could check you and your phone and everything, and your computers, keep tabs on you, he just touched the tip of the iceberg. They can put you under mind control, and you don't even know it. And this is what I was writing about. Now, I wanted to say this before I go any further. I put up yesterday because the media knew about my kidnapping before I did. I only found out in '83 when I was flown out to Larry Flint's. I was on a political campaign to replace one of the doctors I'd written about, Congressman Larry McDonald. And his plane had gone down, the KAL jet, carrying him and passengers from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. Now then, Nixon, former President Nixon, who was a part of all this mess that happened to me later, the ongoing, he was taken off in Juneau, so they had to know it was going down. Anyway, I was out at Flint's, and it was after then that I found out about my kidnapping, and the British told me, or I would never have known. Larry Flint, the person that shot him, was programmed to shoot him, just like they were programmed to shoot Governor George Wallace. And by the way, the woman, Lina Dempsey, that killed her twins, when they kidnapped me, they brought me and put me in Moulton, Alabama. Well, I've got her here somewhere. I thought I did, that picture. I don't see it at the moment. I got it covered up with Hustler magazine here. I was taken there, and this is Lina, and all of them knew about it, the family there, and they helped cover it up because she would have faced the death penalty. So they put me there and gave me the name of a twin, and I'm just showing Carl. He was a twin to Peggy, and so I grew up having to use that name, and this is just article endorsement, editorial by Larry Flint, April of '84. And he mentions his shooting, Larry McDonald and Thomas Murphy, etc. And this is a mind control murder. It might interest you. It's Timothy McVeigh. And he told everybody that the U.S. Army put a buttocks up his, trying to get all this in on a 10-minute tape, a chip up him. And this is by implantable biochips. And the name of it was Project Lucid, but Tex Mars, I believe. But I was writing about mind control because the doctor I worked for had implanted in a heart bypass back, I worked for them in 77, 78 a year, and I had a letter of reference when I left. I was doing the book. That's when Flint was shot. But anyway, I was flown out there. In mind control murders, let me say this real quick. James Holmes is one of them, and there's lists that go way back. So how do you prove it? These that I've spoken of have been deliberately done in patterns so that they can be proven, like the Virginia Tech shootings next door to me, where I've been here since October of '86. And it's been hell. I've lived on the Appalachian Trail and really had a rough life. But anyway, next door is to Roanoke is Blacksburg, Virginia Tech. And the April the 16th of '07, that mass shooting there at the college. And by the way, it was a South Korean that was programmed, and he's a victim too, to shoot them. And they were shot in patterns, so you got the bringing together who's, that gets to be too much, like the Aurora, Colorado in the Century 16 movie theater. If you get the names and you knew the database that's involved in it, you'd see that things had gone way too far back then, and he's being called insane and triggered for a non-existent illness. He's not insane, it's programming, and that has to be stopped. So where are you psychiatrists on this? They'll come out and have you locked up if you found out about it and tried to tell them. This is the Russian that's on, he'd be on death row. Anyway, the Boston bombing. By the way, that's where the beautiful Kennedy clan. My mother was Irish, by the way. I'm English. This is my father, a beautiful man. 99 years seal put on him. Me, his daughter, stolen, and nothing but lies. And this is my sons, his grandchildren. I have no idea where my sons are now. They're heirs after me. This is one of the mind control murders. This is an old picture of me and the boys. And this is Gabby Gifford and Mark Kelly. He's a twin to Scott Kelly. And NASA, they're both astronauts, and she was a congresswoman. And that's, anyway, I'm going to run out of time. I wanted to say that you can, if you want to get this in the chess game, they mentioned it today, and I put it up yesterday. Donald Trump has always asked about Obama's birth certificate. Well, he's from Kenya, at least they say he is. He says he's from Hawaii. But anyway, Elizabeth became the illegal monarch when she was vacationing in Kenya, and her father's illegal, and so is she in that whole line. Now then, you got Kenya, and you've got Obama. So if you want to go a little further, you can go to the O is O'Keefe, and the Obama is Bama. And if you want to think this isn't true, it is. This is how it goes. And they're wondering about his birth certificate because he's president. You've kidnapped the monarch of Great Britain, and you have done every illegal crime against me and the British and the Germans. And yes, the Germans do have a dog in this fight. For one thing, they helped me, my family there did, while the Windsors sold me out, some of them. But, oh God, Jen Zorings is in prison here in Buckingham State Prison in Dillwyn, Virginia. And Elizabeth Haysom is in prison. They're innocent. They were tried in Bedford next door for the murder of her parents, butcher knife slaying. That is so in the patterns, and the problem with it all is everybody around here knew it. So this is about to go off. I'll just let it go off. I don't know. It's getting so bad for me. So I don't know if Brian Williams, I was trying to say that too, and I put it up. You can program people without their knowledge. He's a producer, or the producers are the one that put the news on the air or choose what to do. But you can muddle his thinking. He's not actually deliberately telling it wrong. He's been programmed himself. So everybody, if they found out he'd been programmed, oh God, well, we don't want him anymore. Hey, I said way back, you're not immune, any of you. Your politicians, look what they've done to me and my family, my mother and father, and